Hi everyone, this is Sarah. I wanted to give you an extra little video how-to for this week's lesson on your resources and your rationale. We're getting really close to the end of the course and your plans are coming along amazing. We need to get ready this week to not only finish up your differentiation plan, but to also consolidate your resources. And so you have one assigned task that encompasses two things within it this week. So I want to show you really quickly how to do that. So in Google Classroom, you're each going to have this Module 9, Task 7, Consolidated Plans and Rationale for Differentiation. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but essentially the first step of this is for you to insert hyperlinks to all documents that you've created or are planning to use into your lesson plan. Maybe it's a website, maybe it's something you've created with partners, it doesn't matter. Each of you needs to individually do this so that we have all of the links for your grade consolidated for you, even if you've worked with a collaborative group. So for the first one, for example, you're going to, in the first column, insert a link to each of your lessons here. Within each plan, you should have definitely already addressed differentiation. We'll be checking that this week. And also make sure that people can view, or you may even choose to let people edit, it's up to you. But when you're sharing, when you go to your share document, you want to allow people to view. So in order to do that, all you need to do is open a copy of your lesson plan, whatever that is. Make sure that you then copy the link, right click it, copy, come back here, and you're simply going to paste that in. That's all you need to do there. For the resources, you may have more than one, and so you want to use bulleted lists or spaces to space those out so that people have clear and concise links, etc. Okay, so you would just open each of the resources. Let's imagine I have another one of these choice boards. I'm going to copy the URL, copy, come back to the assignment, and I'm going to paste it in right there. You don't need to rename it. It just needs to go directly to that. I'm going to do 2 returns, and let's imagine I'm also using a Jamboard for that lesson. You may or may not have more than one, but just in case, do it like this, okay? If your lesson plans are for all 3 lessons, you may choose to just do lessons 1 to 3 and delete these other rows, but for each in here or black them out, but for each separate lesson rather than put them all together, I would recommend that you put actually we're requiring that you put each of the digital components for it in there, whether it's going to be delivered digitally or you've developed it to support the digital, just whatever it is that we're going to review for you to go along with this. For your lessons 1, 2, and 3, if they're all in the same document, you can just select these 3, come up and do, I know this is right click and merge the cells once you've selected them. So we'll know there's one document for each. And just for you to just do a quick check, you can hover over it and it will show you what the item is, just to make sure for yourself that you feel like you've gotten everything in there. Once you have that open though, let me come back to this one right here. The share button here in this upper folder needs to definitely be marked so that it's shared with the instructors, so myself and Chalice for sure. You can mark us as either viewers, commenters, or editors. It's up to you. We're not going to be directly commenting in as a requirement in the peer review. We need to view, but you're going to have other ways to provide feedback. But if you would like your peer reviewer to be able to edit or comment, then you're welcome to do that. But they need to at least be able to view. So please make sure that Chalice and myself are in there. I need to put her back to editor for this. And that any of the people in your peer review group. We're going to refine your peer review groups over the next couple of days. We've had a few people audit the course and a few people drop, so we want to make sure everybody has an opportunity for peer review next week. So this is a really important piece of that. The second piece this week that you're going to do is the rationale for your differentiation. So your plan for your differentiation should be included in your lesson plans in whatever format and style you created. But what you're going to do here is provide a brief description. Again, note the pieces up here. So I've got this, let's look at this. This is the digital choice board. So we're requesting clear names as long as you don't have to put the name in the link. It can just be the document itself is clearly named as long as we can get to it. So I'm going to do the online choice board here. So let's say I'm doing that for lesson 3. I'm going to do the online choice board for math here. And then how am I using data here? I'm going to give a brief description that this is differentiated by both content standards and process activity choices for an end, or I'm going to say for a beginning of the year review activity, or end of year, whatever you would do. I would really recommend you guys use these if you want. So if you have 5th graders coming up, you might use the 4th grade one, okay, to get started at the beginning of the year. It's easy to go, and it is on their math that was good to do it to go. And so this would be either I used a unit assessment, was used to support students identifying what they still need to work on, and students then have choice in the process that they will use to do so. Okay, so essentially a unit assessment or a beginning of the year, if you're going to use it for beginning of the year, identifies the standards kids need to work on. That's the content. We're going to differentiate by content. So maybe I conference with a student and say, I'm going to have you work on, for example, on this one, maybe you're going to work on 5NBT5 and on 5NBT6. So you're going to go work on division and multiplication, where another student I'd conference and say, I need you to work on adding and subtracting fractions and problems with volume. So you can choose any of the activities on those aligned slides. So that's just as much as you need to do for the rationale. It doesn't need to be much more than that, but it needs to be clear what it is, how it's differentiated for process, content, or product, and then how it's connected to the use of data. And I want you to think back towards your assessment module and think how the pieces that you worked on in your assessment choices for your project could link to this as well. They may not be a direct link, but just think about that. Or if you're planning to do something different in an attempt to differentiate for this, that's just fine as well. All right, well, I hope that explains this. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We are here to help you. It's really exciting to see how close you guys are getting to coming back to work and getting ready to enact these plans with our students, whatever the context may be. All right, thank you.